Hello, guys. Today we are going to discuss the ketone body metabolism, where I talk to you regarding its synthesis and utilization. First of all, you should know there are three compounds which are included in ketone body. One is acetoacetate, another is beta hydroxybutyrate, and third is acetone. These three compounds together they are called ketone body. They are produced during excessive fatty acid beta oxidation. This excessive fatty acid beta oxidation takes place during starvation and diabetes mellitus, especially type 1 diabetes mellitus, which is uncontrolled. So when we have starvation and diabetes, we have excessive fatty acid beta oxidation, which results in ketogenesis. The organ which is producing ketone body is the liver and at times the renal cortex. But by default, you should know the major organ which is producing ketone body is the liver. And it is purely a mitochondrial process where all the steps of ketogenesis occurs in the mitochondria. Ketogenesis is nothing but it's the continuation of fatty acid beta oxidation when surplus amount of acetyl-CoA is generated from beta oxidation of fatty acid, which cannot be utilized in TCA cycle. That acetyl-CoA is diverted for ketogenesis during starvation and diabetes. Now let's discuss all these things in little more detail. But before that, I should tell you that ketone body is a misnomer because we have three ketone bodies and all of them, they do not have keto group. We have keto group in acetoacetate, we have keto group in acetone. But as the name implies, the beta hydroxybutyrate does not have this keto group. It is rather having the hydroxyl group. So ketone body is actually a misnomer because all the component of this ketone body, all the types of this ketone body is not having keto group. The exception is the beta hydroxybutyrate, which is not having the keto group. It's having the rather hydroxyl group. So it's a misnomer. Now let's talk about its synthesis in liver, which is the major organ where the synthesis takes place. And as I told you, it's a purely mitochondrial process. The acyl-CoA, the fatty acyl-CoA, which undergo beta oxidation, starts generating a lot of acetyl-CoA, which ideally should get utilized in the TCA cycle. But suppose if there is excessive fatty acid beta oxidation, we tend to get a lot of acetyl-CoA which cannot be utilized all in TCA cycle. At that stage, the acetyl-CoA is diverted for ketogenesis, where first of all two compounds of acetyl-CoA condense to produce you acetoacetyl-CoA, which is 4-carbon compound, and the acetyl-CoA is lost, coenzyme A is lost at this step. This is catalyzed by thiolase enzyme. Thiolase enzyme is the enzyme which is needed in beta oxidation terminal step. Thiolase is the enzyme which is also needed in cholesterol biogenesis in cytosol. This thiolase which I'm talking to you in the mitochondria is actually the same enzyme needed for beta oxidation of fatty acid, which is required here during ketogenesis. You should know thiolase is a reversible enzyme and it can dissociate ester-acetyl-CoA into acetyl-CoA and it can condense two acetyl-CoA to form your ester-acetyl-CoA. So thiolase is now condensing two acetyl-CoA together to make you one 4-carbon compound ester-acetyl-CoA. Now next to this, one more acetyl-CoA is condensing in presence of enzyme called HMG-CoA synthase, which is rate limiting enzyme of ketogenesis. This produces 6-carbon HMG-CoA, which is then breaking into two, the acetyl-CoA and acetoacetate. This enzyme is HMG-CoA lyase enzyme. So these are the steps of ketogenesis. Excessive fatty acid oxidation results in excessive acetyl-CoA, which is not utilized in TCA cycle, and it's diverted for ketogenesis, where thiolase forms ester-acetyl-CoA, and then HMG-CoA synthase forms HMG-CoA, which is breaking it into ester-acetate and acetyl-CoA by lyase enzyme. Now, this acetoacetate is the primary ketone body, or otherwise called precursor ketone body, because this is the common precursor of other two ketone bodies, that is beta hydroxybutyrate and acetone. The hydroxyl group is there at third carbon, so it's also called 3-hydroxybutyrate. The conversion of acetoacetate to beta hydroxybutyrate is a reversible process, and conversion of acetoacetate to acetone in the blood, like this is taking in the cell, in the liver cell, but this conversion of acetoacetate to acetone is taking in the circulation in the blood. The acetone formation is an irreversible process where carbon dioxide is removed spontaneously without need of any enzyme. But when we talk about the formation of beta hydroxybutyrate from acetoacetate, it's a reversible process catalyzed by dehydrogenase enzyme, that's called beta hydroxybutyrate dehydrogenase enzyme. This is abundantly there in the liver matrix, and this particular enzyme uses NAD as a coenzyme. Like for example, when the acetoacetate is converted to beta hydroxybutyrate, NADH is required, that's converted to NAD, and if the reverse reaction is followed, the beta hydroxybutyrate is dehydrogenated, where hydrogen is taken up by NAD and forms you NADH. You should know the direction of equilibrium of this reaction is towards the formation of beta hydroxybutyrate because of continuous consumption of this compound once it comes to the blood. So the diversion of equilibrium is towards the formation of beta hydroxybutyrate. So in that process, you can see the NADH of the liver mitochondria is utilized, and that is like acetoacetate is getting reduced to form you beta hydroxybutyrate. This is something very important because now we can see that liver is trying to divert its excess NADH and excess acetyl-CoA to the peripheral tissues, to extrahepatic tissues where they can be utilized. So that is all, and I should say that this is the ketogenesis. The steps are simple. We have the condensation with the thiolase, then ester-acetyl-CoA forms your HMG-CoA, then lyase is going to produce your precursor primary ketone body, that is acetoacetate, which in turn gives rise to secondary ketone body, that is acetone and beta hydroxybutyrate. Now they come to the blood, the beta hydroxybutyrate and the acetone, they come to the blood, and this acetone is a non-metabolic end of the ketogenesis because it is not metabolized in the body further, and it is exhaled in expiration, giving the fruity odor to the breath. And this beta hydroxybutyrate floats in the circulation. It's very much water soluble, so it circulates in the plasma freely, beta hydroxybutyrate, and when its amount exceeds a certain limit, this beta hydroxybutyrate start getting utilized in extrahepatic cell, extrahepatic tissues. There are many tissues which uses the ketone body, the heart muscle, the kidney. They use the ketone body. They prefer the ketone body over the glucose. So the beta hydroxybutyrate is taken up by them. Other organs like skeletal muscle and brain also uses ketone body very well, but they certainly prefer, like when we talk about skeletal muscle, it prefers fatty acid over the ketone body, and the brain prefers glucose over the ketone body. But what I said earlier, the heart cell and the renal cell, they are preferring the ketone body over the glucose. So the ketone body enters the extrahepatic cell, and there are so many cells which uses the ketone body. You should know the liver does not use the ketone body. This is because of lack of one enzyme which is needed to utilize the ketone body, thiopurase. Liver is not having thiopurase. Similarly, RBC is not using the ketone body because for utilization of ketone body, you need to have mitochondria. And RBC is not having mitochondria. Right. So now what I am telling you, the production of ketone body is a mitochondrial process, and the utilization of ketone body is also a mitochondrial process. So this beta hydroxybutyrate, now listen carefully, this beta hydroxybutyrate enters the extrahepatic cell where it is immediately converted to acetoacetate. In the mitochondria, it directly reaches and it is converted to acetoacetate in a reversible equation catalyzed by beta hydroxybutyrate dehydrogenase enzyme. Beta hydroxybutyrate dehydrogenase enzyme. Now, the direction of equilibrium of this reaction is towards the formation of acetoacetate in extrahepatic tissues, because as soon as acetoacetate is formed, it is getting utilized in that extrahepatic tissue, diverting the equilibrium towards the formation of acetoacetate. And as you understand, the NADH is also produced. So it's a gain to the extrahepatic cell. Now let's see what's the fate for this, the future of this acetoacetate, how it is able to produce ATP further. I'm talking to you about ketone body utilization steps. Now this acetoacetate is converted to acetoacetyl-CoA when the succinyl-CoA of TCA cycle donates coenzyme A and gets converted to succinate. This is important reaction catalyzed by thiophorase enzyme, otherwise called succinyl-CoA acetoacetate CoA transferase enzyme. This thiophorase enzyme converts acetoacetate to usable form, that is acetoacetyl-CoA, which then is converted to acetyl-CoA, 2 molecule, in presence of which enzyme? In presence of thiolase once again. So thiolase needed for ketogenesis, thiolase needed for fatty acid beta oxidation, last step, thiolase needed for ketone body utilization, and once more thiolase is needed for cholesterol biogenesis. Now this acetyl-CoA is utilized in the TCA cycle in extrahepatic cell, providing you 10 ATP. One acetyl-CoA produces 10 ATP. So this is how the extrahepatic tissues gets ATP from this ketone body. This is the ketone body utilization. Why liver is not able to use the ketone body when it can produce the ketone body? Why it is not able to use the ketone body? This is due to lack of thiophorase enzyme. Lack of thiophorase enzyme in liver. And why mitochondria is not able to use the ketone body? This is due to lack of mitochondria in the RBC. All other cells, to variable extent, they use the ketone body. As I have told you, the heart and the renal tissues, they prefer ketone body over the glucose. Skeletal prefer the fatty acid over the ketone body, and brain prefer the glucose over the ketone body. 2 to 3 days of starvation is required for brain to switch over to the ketone body from the glucose. So in nutshell, this is the synthesis and utilization of ketone body, which I have told you. Now talking to you about other aspects of ketone body metabolism. Now the first question arises, why in these two circumstances, diabetes and starvation, firsthand we have the ketogenesis? The answer is lack of insulin and presence of glucagon. The answer is lack of insulin and presence of glucagon under these circumstances. In starvation, when there is no glucose in the blood, there is no insulin secretion into the blood, and glucagon takes upper hand. And in diabetes, you know, the pathogenesis is lack of insulin, so the glucagon takes upper hand. This glucagon tend to phosphorylate hormone sensitive lipase enzyme, which is the enzyme which is needed in phosphorylated forms found in adipose cell. This hormone sensitive lipase enzyme is found in adipose cell where the TAG is stored. TAG is triacylglycerol, where the fatty acid is stored. Now this glucagon activates hormone sensitive lipase enzyme via phosphorylation, via CAM dependent phosphorylation, and that hormone sensitive lipase, when acts on triacylglycerol, mobilizes the fatty acid to the blood. So this is the triggering of the ketogenesis. The mobilization of fatty acid to the blood via action of hormone sensitive lipase is the foremost requirement of the ketogenesis, which is met with in presence of glucagon via its action on hormone sensitive lipase, where it phosphorylates it and activates it. And this fatty acid, when exceeds a particular limit, it starts entering the cells. The liver is a major consumer of this fatty acid because there are a lot of beta oxidation is taking place, and liver starts generating ketone body during excessive fatty acid beta oxidation. So fatty acid enters the liver and there it undergoes beta oxidation, and as I have told you at the start of the class, the excessive fatty acid beta oxidation results in excessive acetyl-CoA, which is not utilized in TCA cycle in the liver, so it is diverted for ketogenesis. So you should understand the first trigger point is the mobilization of the fatty acid from the adipose cell, where the glucagon play very, very important role. Right. So now there is another level of regulation of ketogenesis, and that is the mitochondrial membrane, where we have CPT1 enzyme, carnitine palmitoyl transferase 1 enzyme, which is important to facilitate the diffusion of fatty acid across the mitochondrial membrane so that it reaches the mitochondrial matrix. This is mitochondrial membrane, and there is one arrangement under carnitine shuttle that's called CPT1. You should know malonyl-CoA blocks the CPT1, and this malonyl-CoA is produced in presence of insulin. So when insulin is not there, malonyl-CoA is not there, and this block is removed, the block is abolished, and the fatty acid enters the mitochondrial matrix, where it undergoes beta oxidation, and excessive beta oxidation results in ketogenesis. So this is the second point of regulation, where insulin play important role. Insulin produces malonyl-CoA that does not allow the fatty acid to enter the matrix. But in lack of insulin, when malonyl-CoA is not there, this fatty acid starts entering the mitochondrial matrix. So we have first level of regulation of ketogenesis at the level of hormone sensitive lipase, and second level of regulation of ketogenesis at the CPT1 level, where the malonyl-CoA is by default blocking the CPT1, and in lack of insulin that block is abolished, and fatty acid enters the mitochondrial matrix for beta oxidation purpose. Now you may ask me, what is the third level of regulation of ketogenesis? The third level of regulation of ketogenesis is the availability of oxaloacetate in the TCA cycle. During starvation and advanced diabetes, the oxaloacetate in the TCA cycle is lacking because it is diverted for gluconeogenesis. So lack of oxaloacetate does not allow the incoming acetyl-CoA to get utilized in the TCA cycle, and that gets diverted to ketogenesis. So lack of oxaloacetate is the third level of regulation of ketogenesis. So these are the points regarding regulation of ketogenesis you should know. Normally also we have production of ketone body, but they are very, very less in amount. They are less than 1 milligram per deciliter in plasma and negligible in urine. When we say ketosis means we have excessive ketone body, which is characterized by ketonemia, where the ketone body level goes in 1000 milligram per deciliter. We have ketonuria, when the ketone body starts coming out in the urine, and we have the acetone in the breath. As I told you, the acetone is a non-metabolic end of the ketone body metabolism, and that is exhaled as such, giving the fruity odor to the breath of the patient who is suffering with ketosis. So when the patient comes in emergency and his or her breath is having a sweet odor or fruity odor, you can always have this clinical suspicion of ketosis in that patient. So this is the ketogenesis, and I have told also about the regulation of the ketogenesis, 3 level of regulation of ketogenesis. Why ketosis? Ketosis is so dangerous because it's an acid. Ketone bodies, acetoacetate and beta hydroxybutyrate, at physiological pH of 7.4, they are acid. They change the pH, they change the homeostasis, and results in Kussmaul's respiration, which is because of hyperventilation, presence of acidosis. The treatment of ketosis is immediate infusion of insulin along with the glucose, which is very, very important to in treatment of ketosis of any cause. So I think this is enough for today, and this is the ketone body and its synthesis, its utilization, and what is misnomer, why it is misnomer, what level of ketone body we synthesis we tend to have the regulation of ketogenesis, right? And oxaloacetate, why it is lacking? One thing I said that it's diverted for gluconeogenesis, and so it is lacking in the mitochondria during ketogenesis. And one more thing you should see, that when NADH is high in liver due to fatty acid, excessive fatty acid beta oxidation, that excess NADH converts oxaloacetate to malate, and again the oxaloacetate is not available for immediate use. So when acetyl-CoA is not taken care of in TCA cycle in the liver mitochondria, it is diverted for ketogenesis. In nutshell, if I say the ketogenesis, ketone metabolism is a mechanism by which nature has devised the diversion of excessive acetyl-CoA from liver to extrahepatic tissues. Liver is saturated with a lot of NADH ATP because a lot of TCA cycle is already running there, and so the excess acetyl-CoA is diverted to extrahepatic tissues where it goes and produces ATP. Now the problem is the blood in between. When in blood you have excessive ketone body circulating, that results in pH change and the ketosis. Right. Now how to detect the ketone body in the urine? So a brief note on this. Ketone body detection in the urine, not in the plasma, in the urine, we do the Rotheras test to detect the ketone body in the urine. And you should know that Rotheras test detect the ketone body having the keto group, that is acetoacetate and acetone alone. This Rotheras test cannot detect the beta hydroxybutyrate in the urine. And paradoxically, the beta hydroxybutyrate is a predominant ketone body which comes out in the urine, but that cannot be detected by Rotheras test. In Rotheras test, we take urine, 5 ml of urine in the test tube, and saturate it with ammonium sulfate. This ammonium sulfate precipitates the protein by salting out, because protein interferes with this test. So we need to saturate the urine with ammonium sulfate so that if at all any albumin is there in the urine, it's getting sedimented. And after this, we add 2% sodium nitroprusside in the urine and mix it thoroughly. And from the side of the tube, we pour ammonia vapor. Around half ml to 1 ml of ammonia is slowly poured from the side of the tube. At the junction, you find this purple color ring that denotes the presence of ketone body. So it's a very simple test. You have to saturate urine with ammonium sulfate, add sodium nitroprusside, and add ammonia. So in alkaline medium, what happens is sodium nitroprusside makes a complex, purple color complex is formed when sodium nitroprusside interacts with the ketone body, acetoacetate and acetone. Right. So this is Rotheras test, which can be done to detect the ketone body in the urine. Thank you very much.